Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone. My guest today is Dr. Sharleen Lawrence, and she started her health journey in college after noticing that her doctor only seemed to have time to push pills. I'm sure nobody out there has ever had that experience. She figured there was a better way, and there is. And so she discovered her passion for traditional Chinese medicine. She is now an acupuncturist and herbalist. For years, Dr. Charlene struggled with several symptoms that didn't have a clear diagnosis. I'm sure some of you can relate. I can relate. After she started following the four-stage process to heal her symptoms, she learned that she doesn't need a diagnosis to feel well. So Dr. Charlene now uses this four-stage healing process with her patients and online community with amazing results. So I am very excited for you to meet her and for us to all hear about this. It's going to be cool. This is good stuff. Here we go. Where'd she go? There she is. Okay. Good morning, Dr. Charlene. Thank you for being here. And I can't wait to dive in here.
Hey there, Jeff. I'm so excited to share my journey with everybody and
Uh,
even pick your brain a little bit if we get a chance. And I'm so glad you've got me.
Me too. This is going to be awesome. Pick my brain. Well, that could, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to be picking your brain a little bit. But um, so what was so obviously your health during your college years, like what was that's kind of when stuff started going a little haywire, right? What was
Yeah.
happening there, and how did they first manifest? Like, how did you find this out?
Well, I want to say it even started back a little bit before then.
Okay.
And I was just, a teenager. I didn't know any better. And so, I guess we'll dive right into maybe a little bit of the ick factor. We're going to talk about some like woman issues,
Okay,
but
everybody.
just yeah,
You don't want
yeah,
to. If it isn't your favorite, then okay, it's time to, yeah.
yeah.
All right, bring it on.
Um, like period stuff as a teenager was really rough for me,
Uh,
and hormone fluctuations. What I know now is that we shouldn't be that's not healthy and normal, although it's common. And they did what they do for all young teenage girls who are having issues with that and put me on birth control pill. And it was really in college that I had this realization that not necessarily around the hormonal stuff, but I had a rough day. It was the end of my first semester in college.
yeah.
I was getting ready for finals, happened to have my annual exam scheduled with my doctor on the day that I found out that a childhood friend had died in the
Oh,
previous weekend at
oh
college.
no.
Yeah, drunk driving accident.
Hmm.
And I show up at the doctor's office and they put you on the scale. And of course, I gained a little bit of that freshman 15. And I'm in the little robe,
Yeah.
completely vulnerable and practically naked. And the doctor walks in and is like, "Oh, I see you gained a little weight." And I just burst into tears.
Come on.
So
Ugh.
she stepped into the hallway, grabbed a pamphlet from Paxil, which is a depression medication, anxiety and
Yep.
depression medication, and she read off the pamphlet these 5 things, which I don't remember every single one, but something to do with, are you sleeping poorly? Are you gaining weight? Are you crying at the drop of a hat?
Check,
And
check,
then,
check.
yeah, 2 other things that all teenage college girls are going through. And I was like, "Yes, all of those things." And so she wrote
Oh,
me, she did was like, oh, she didn't even ask me how I was feeling or anything. She just wrote me a script, and I took it for 4 days and thought, "This isn't what I need." I I wasn't there to get a depression medication. And so I'm really glad that I had the wherewithal to just say, I don't need this. And I remember going in for a follow-up a couple weeks later, not having taken the medication. I actually saw the male nurse practitioner,
Mhm.
and I told him, I said, I've been getting through finals. I'm not sleeping that great. And he wrote on a prescription pad, nothing that I could take down to Walgreens or whatever, but he wrote down valerian root. And he was
Hey,
like, try this. It's a natural herbal supplement, and sometimes it helps people sleep.
and this was in a
And so
medical office?
this was in a medical office.
Well done,
And
man.
I
Yeah,
know, and actually, the funny thing is, he taught me one other thing that I share with people all the time, and so I'll
yeah.
share it with your audience. He taught me these 20 something years ago that the solution to pollution is dilution,
Okay.
meaning we have to drink plenty of water to cleanse all the toxic chemicals, basically the pollution, out of our bodies. And that little rhyme has always stuck with me. And so whenever I'm feeling poorly, I remind myself, oh, the solution to pollution is dilution. So go drink more water. And oftentimes it will at least make me feel a little better, if not completely resolve the problem.
Nice. Hey, water is always a good thing. I mean, unless you're drinking like gallons an hour, that could be harmful. But I mean, for the most part, nobody ever drinks enough water. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually highly impressed that he went that route. I mean, honestly, in a medical
Yeah.
office, I'm still kind of blown away that that actually occurred. You know?
Yeah, I am too, and I did have to at least share with him, this medication isn't for me, this isn't what I need, I really just need something to sleep, I'd like it to be natural, so at least he was willing to play the game with me instead of writing me an Ambien script.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'll tell you what, I say it all the time, and there's people out there, and it strikes people funny every time, but it's true. Like nobody thinks about it this way, but especially in the medical field. But you're not depressed because you have a Zoloft deficiency in your system
Ab
or a Paxil
absolutely.
deficiency in your, so you don't have like a Paxil size hole in your, you know, your body that's like, oh, thank God, that's the solution. You know, it's it's not like that. So
Absolutely.
why are we getting prescribed this all the
Yes,
time?
I've heard others explain it that way. Like, this isn't a metformin deficiency when people have diabetes or prediabetes.
Right?
And I think that's a very logical way to think about it.
Yeah.
And, more and more of the medical community are really starting to get on board at trying to figure out these underlying root causes. And I don't know if you or your audience picked up on that, but I use the word causes plural
Yes.
because rarely is it ever one thing that is problematic. And even with how I practice with traditional Chinese medicine, Eastern medicine, we're taught to look for patterns, and even in school, we're taught to look for the root cause. And what I've learned in almost a decade of private practice is there's never just one.
No.
So
No.
learning to kind of broaden our view there and think, okay, what else could be at play here? Because it's layered. We're onions, like Shrek says.
Yes. For sure. Well, but it's 100% right. You tackle this part of the root cause, and that might uncover this. And then you kind of tackle that, and it might uncover this. We're totally layered. It's how it works.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
by the way, I just want to throw this out there to the audience.
Mm,
If first of all, if this isn't blowing your mind yet, because not a lot of people talk about root causes. I'm not gonna. This is not usually a thing in the medical community or the even the functional medicine community. I mean,
mhm,
really, they're
yeah,
still focused on supplement, right? Which is a good
yes.
band-aid, but it's not a root cause. So if anything that Dr. Charlene is talking about, like light bulb, um, seriously, this QR code I just put up here. Well, first of all, where's that going to go? Is that a good place for people to reach out to you?
Yes,
Okay.
that is a good place. The only thing I have on there at the moment is an application to work with me. So if you are expecting to email me or something like that, just go ahead. It's a short application. Just go ahead and put that application in and just make note, hey, I'd love to chat with you, and we can absolutely coordinate something that way.
Okay. And is there an email that you would want to throw out there if people want to get in touch with you, or
I would actually love for them to fill out the application. That way I
even
can
better?
have a good sense of what
Oh,
is
yeah.
going on with their systems before we even chat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that we had the right, that link was going to be sufficient. So that's great. Yeah, that's perfect. So there you go, guys. By the way, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, it's as simple as typing, yes, please, or I want more information or something. You don't have to get specific with what you're dealing with or anything. Just say, help, and we can look back on those comments and reach out to you, or scan the QR code if you're watching on the live stream or on replay. So any way that you can get in touch is a good way. So yeah, so we'll just keep that up there for the majority of the show, and so no excuses. Scan the QR code. Everybody's got a phone, so um, so you did, but okay, so you also didn't have a super clear diagnosis coming into this, right? That was also
Right.
part of the thing that made it frustrating and a little confusing, and so that takes its toll. I mean, emotionally, physically. How did you how did you work through that and finally get to what would help?
So I still don't have a clear diagnosis really of what's gone on with my body. So,
Hmm,
since that experience in college, which is one of the catalysts, one of the many catalysts to kind of like encourage me down the path that I've taken in Eastern medicine,
mhm,
was to just start uncovering what was wrong with me. I've always had weird food sensitivities. I've
yeah,
had skin stuff like eczema, just random rashes that would pop up and,
mm,
hang out for a couple of years. Like I caught COVID a couple of years back, and then a year and a half I had this rash on my face. Lovely. And,
jeez. Yeah,
um, I've had many doctors tell me that I had endometriosis since I was a teenager, but I've
wow,
never had the exploratory surgery done to verify that because I just don't feel like cutting into me to look around in my abdomen is really anything that's going to matter, I guess. Because honestly, the only thing they're going to do for endometriosis is give me birth control pill. And the last time I tried to take hormonal birth control, I broke out in the hives head to toe, so my body didn't like it.
well, it
Um,
puts you on birth control or completely, surgery,
take it away.
and
Exactly.
right. So, and neither one of those are great if you
Yeah.
don't have to. So,
Yes,
yeah.
I would love to avoid surgery and keep all my parts if I can.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Um,
That's yeah.
yeah, and if it's trying to kill me, that's one thing, take it away, but as long as,
Yeah,
if we can learn to live together, let's do that. Um,
exactly.
and just as I went into Eastern medicine school, I really started to see a lot of these patterns of looking at the whole system as
Mhm.
opposed to what we do in Western medicine. And I want to be really clear that I don't knock Western medicine in
No.
certain cases. I know Jeff, I know you've told your story on the show before, like
Yeah.
having hydrocephalus and being able to identify that as young as you were and having a surgical procedure to solve that problem is amazing because a couple hundred
Yeah.
years ago you may not have survived. And
Even this century or last century, 20th
last
century, there
century,
was
yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean, even if I had been born 20 years before I was, I probably would have had a much worse chance. So, yes, I
exactly.
wouldn't be
So
here if it weren't for traditional Western medicine. I agree.
exactly. So I'm not knocking it in any
Right.
way.
Totally.
What I realized, and that I come to realize more and more as I get deeper into my private practice, is that Western medicine is great for acute problems. If you
Yes.
break a bone, please go to the emergency room. If you are having a heart attack or any symptoms of a heart attack,
Yeah.
please go to the emergency room because they
Right.
have spectacular solutions for you. I can boil for 45 minutes the herb ginseng
Mhm.
and give it to you as a tea. That might stop your heart attack, but during that 45 minutes, you might not make it. So
Right.
please
Yeah.
use the emergency medicine when necessary. But where it seems to lack is that they are looking at individual organs,
Yes.
individual systems, perhaps like the whole endocrine system, but really even looking at, the pancreas versus the thyroid versus the adrenals. And they're not looking at the person and the environment around them. And so that's where Eastern medicine is so nature based. And just like we were talking about earlier, you don't have a Zoloft deficiency, and functional medicine has taken a step further and they're doing a little bit better where yes, you might actually have a vitamin D deficiency, so take this vitamin D.
Mhm.
However, like Eastern medicine is going to look at why do you have a vitamin D deficiency anyway? Are
Yes.
you not going outside in the sunshine at all? It's really simple. Are you constantly covering your eyes with UV protectant glasses that actually prevent the UV rays that we need to produce vitamin D from getting into the eyeballs and getting into the body?
Yeah.
And it's oftentimes something so simple as going out in the sun early in the morning, like, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning for 10 minutes without
Mhm.
sunglasses. And there you go. Problem
Yeah.
solved.
There you go.
And you don't have to be on supplementation forever, because that's the goal. We wanna live our lives.
Right? And anything that you take, honestly, yeah, you hit nail right on the head, should be temporary. Like, if you need to take something to bolster your like, boost your system in some way, great, sure, as a
Yeah.
Band-Aid, as a temporary measure.
Mhm.
But there's other ways to do it in longer term, right? And you wanna stick to those, and you don't wanna have to be reliant on, like, sleep medications. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we had a sleep expert on, last year on the show, and she was phenomenal, and she was talking about, she's like, "There's an epidemic of people taking sleep medication, to knock them out so they can sleep because people can't sleep." And that should never be taken long term. Any medication, really, if you can help it. If you can help it. If there's
Yes.
some people that have to do it,
Yes. If
but
it's life-saving
yes,
medication, like,
yeah,
um,
like
you know,
for
I'm
like
thinking
depression,
people who have.
anxiety, yeah, or
Yeah, and even that, like, that doesn't always have to be long term because
sure,
oftentimes it's like a lack of exercise, it's poor food quality, and lack of
ugh,
sunshine or lack of sleep, all of these really back to basics, back to nature
ugh,
type things that I forgot about for years in practice and helping my patients, and I've only more recently in the last couple of years in trying to heal myself
yeah,
started thinking like, "Well, man, I need more sun. I need to sleep better.
right?
Put the Doritos away."
Stop drinking soda at 9 o'clock at night or whatever, and wondering why you don't sleep well. Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I tell you what, this is, I mean, we could, we can keep going for a while, but I feel like this is a good spot to at least pause. And we're gonna go to a commercial break and make the sponsors happy for a minute. And then we will come back because but seriously, guys, stick around. Come back from that break ready to learn, man, because we're gonna be talking about some cool stuff. Some more about traditional Chinese medicine and like the 4 steps. We want to talk about
Yeah.
that a little bit and dive into some of the meat of this. So do not go anywhere. Don't worry, the QR code will be back after the break, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes. Stick around.
In a world where office workers typically receive 130 daily emails and have an 8-second attention span, Core Centrica, with her 4 decades of international marketing experience, has partnered with the Learning Code Institute and their 30 years of neuroscientific research. Together, we are crafting unique messaging strategies that resonate, connect, and ultimately convert our target audiences. Core Centrica, where award-winning creativity and disruptive neuroscience come together. Scan this code now, or call and click, and let us show you how Core Centrica's partnership with the Learning Code Institute is influencing how businesses connect with their audience, foster engagement, and achieve conversions.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hey everyone, Coach Greg here from Living Empowered TV, where we help women live empowered lives through amazing guests, life hacks, mental, physical, and emotional health. See us on the Achieve Network, 12 o'clock Wednesdays Pacific time on E360 TV. Don't miss out.
Hey, everybody. Before we bring Dr. Sharleen back, I want to talk to you about Invisible Condition University, ICU for short. Invisible Condition University is something that my family and I wish had been around about 10 years ago. I had gone through, between 2013 and today, I've had 4 brain surgeries and 2 other surgeries. Almost felt like they were back to back. It was so crazy. And every time I'd have surgery, I felt like the hospital and the medical staff just kind of left us behind. Once you leave that hospital, they forget your name, and it's not their fault. It's just the system we're in. That's why Catherine, my wife, and I created ICU. We wanted to provide a place where people like us, maybe like you, could have a community that listens, that cares, that walks with you, no matter what you're going through. We meet on Zoom twice a month, pardon me, twice a week. Man, I'd be busy. Twice a month, the first and third Tuesday of every month at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. Don't worry, if you don't catch the live call, you can always catch the recording. And we're on there for about an hour or longer if people have more to talk about. But it's a safe place for people, patients, their caregivers, maybe their relative, maybe somebody, whoever's taking care of you, maybe they're walking with you in this health journey of yours. Come, ask questions, vent frustrations, find information that maybe your medical professionals aren't giving you or don't know to give you. If you'd like to learn more, one that would like to receive a free 30-day membership, couple calls for free, come to myfreegiftfromjeff.com, scan the QR code, or go to myfreegiftfromjeff.com and you'll get the first 30 days for free. After that, it's super inexpensive anyway, but we'd love to have you join us. And we'll see what we can figure out together. So here, let's bring Dr. Sharleen back on and continue with the story here. This is awesome. All right. So before we went to the break, we were talking about a 4-step process. So we're gonna dive into that a little bit. 4-stage healing process that helped you manage your symptoms. Let's dive in here. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have gone down so many rabbit holes with, whatever it is that's not working right in my body. And, I love the concept of your show, this invisible condition, and your tagline that it's not all in your head, because I like to say I have a mystery illness. Like, it's never been fully identified.
Yeah.
And it's a mystery to everybody. And so when that happens, the medical community will often start telling you you're crazy.
Yep.
And I know
Maybe
I'm
not in
not
so many
crazy.
words, but,
Right.
but yeah,
Well,
it's yeah.
when they send the, psychiatric team to your bed in the
Hey, maybe
hospital.
maybe it isn't that so many words. Oh my gosh. Woo! Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
you can only assume is like, oh, you're bonkers and
Mm.
take this prescription psychiatric med and you'll be fine. So I started digging with my Eastern medicine knowledge. I did a ton of training in functional medicine because it really is a great stepping stone to healing.
Yes.
I've found a couple of little gaps that functional medicine has in recent years. And, I was tired of taking 30 supplements a day just to make my body work, which when you logically think about that, like if you think about our ancestors, even a couple hundred years ago, nobody was taking 30 supplements a day. And they probably had other problems like
Yeah.
other stressors and stuff,
Yes.
but their bodies were pretty healthy because they were out in the sunshine a lot. They were working the fields. They were eating real food. They were sleeping with, the nighttime hours. They were eating with the daylight hours, just all the
Yep.
things.
Yeah.
But my mystery illness kind of turned into, well, do I have Hashimoto's? I do have a very low level of antibodies, which when it comes to antibodies of healthy, like self tissue,
Mhm.
that's not normal. So even if you have one antibody against your own healthy tissue, let's say the thyroid, like Hashimoto's, then there's an opportunity for an autoimmune attack. Um, and then I have like anti-nuclear antibodies, which could point to a rheumatic disease or lupus or many other things. But when I test for all these things, they tell me, well, you're kind of on the border. We don't know, which in Western medicine translation means you're on the border. We can't legally give you drugs for this because it might make things worse or you could
Yep.
sue us. And so we're
Yep.
just going to let you keep feeling miserable. And
Yeah.
I leaned into the functional medicine, like I said, I did all this testing. I've eaten extremely clean, healthy diet for at least a decade now, if not longer.
Yeah.
I move my body as much as I can when I feel good. And there were still holes. I was still having problems, even
Mm.
though at least for the population of people I see in my clinic and the people that work through my online program, I probably feel like leaps and bounds better than they do. I was still really struggling through my workouts sometimes, really
Mhm.
struggling with like the menstrual stuff
Yeah.
and, having some insomnia here and there. And so I finally went back to my Chinese medicine roots and I was introduced to a colleague of mine who has just had amazing mentors. And so just really like standing on the shoulders of giants and then me getting
Mhm.
to stand on their shoulders and learning from this particular colleague of mine. His name is Jeremy. And he studied with some of the great Chinese medicine doctors in China.
Cool.
And we have, let's say, if we break Chinese medicine down kind of into 8 stages,
Uh-huh.
4 of them would be considered excess, like there's too much of something in the body, and then
Okay.
4 of them would be deficient. There's not enough of that going on in the body.
Okay.
And I wish we were taught this way in school, and perhaps they're teaching this way in China and just not in the US because it's very standardized here.
Mhm.
But I was never taught you need to get rid of the excess first to treat that deficiency. And so Jeremy kind of learned this, like I said, from just these brilliant minds in China. And he really whittled it down to these 4 stages and then maybe 10 traditional Chinese herbal formulas that kind of help
Okay.
within those stages. And I know 10 still seems like a lot, but what it does is it just gives us choice where if somebody has a lot of heat in stage 1, I'm going to give them a particular cooling formula. If they're very cold, I want to give them the warming formula.
Mhm.
And that's really all it is. So
Yeah.
I've started practicing in these last couple of years, thinking in terms of these 4 kind of excess stages. And that would be stage 1 is to clean up the immune system, support the immune system, and dampen inflammation. That's what we do in stage 1.
Nice.
Stage 2 is all about digestion. Stage
Love it.
3 is the neuroadrenal. So
Mm.
stress, all the craziness, brain fog, that kind of stuff, as well as a little bit of maybe some menstrual stuff for certain women.
Mhm.
And then the final stage, stage 4, is circulation. And so when I was working with women, primarily will walk into my office often, and they will be kind of stage 3 crisis, neuroadrenal crisis. They're stressed, they can't sleep, they are exhausted, they have tons of brain fog. They're trying to be all the things
Yeah.
that moms are trying to do these days, and it's just falling apart. So I was treating that, but what I've come to learn more recently in these recent years is that they have all of this immune stuff going on. Their immune system is dysregulated. Autoimmunity is starting to set in. And so once we start cleaning up the immune system, getting rid of inflammation, and then we work on their gut health a little bit, it's amazing how their brain fog goes away. They can manage stress more easily. They're sleeping through the night. It's amazing.
You mean put the right stuff in and your body works better? What? Come on.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
exactly. It's a wild theory.
It can't be that simple. You have to do XYZ in addition to it, right? Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, even in the, not to, like you said, I'm not trying to dog on the doctors, but I feel like some of them, not all of them, there's some good ones out there, but I feel like they've almost betrayed the Hippocratic Oath in some ways, because part of that Hippocratic Oath is, first of all, first and foremost, do no harm. And what are these side effects of these meds doing? And second, let your medicine be your food and your food be your medicine. Why do we need extra? Why is all the extra necessary to live well? It isn't. You just have to find the right things to feed your body. And, it seems so
Yeah.
simple.
I completely agree with you, Jeff. And that's even a thought that I've had many times, especially in these last few years, because,
Yeah.
Since COVID, the medical system has just been so overburdened.
Yeah.
And it's not doctors trying to be malicious in any way.
No.
It's really not. They have limited resources. It's just so stressed and taxed. But I think of the Hippocratic Oath all the time, and you're right. That first part, the only part that anybody really knows of it is, but first do no harm.
Yeah.
And to go into a doctor's office and be gaslit and told that your symptoms aren't real, it's all in your head, you have a psychiatric problem, which, maybe we do, but it's not manifesting the rash on my body. And,
Right. Well,
so that
yeah.
gaslighting is doing harm. And so I feel like they're forgetting that first part of the oath that they took as healers to help their patients.
Even if they took one slight adjustment to that and just said, I don't know what it is. I don't know.
Absolutely.
It's okay to say, I don't know.
I say I don't know to my patients and my online members all the time.
I would
All the
much
time.
rather hear, I don't know, but let's figure it out together, than
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is, but it has to fit into one of these pigeonholes. So take this medication.
Yes, I was just
So,
working with a patient the other day who she's like a hybrid person. She sees me in person and she's a part of my
nice.
online program.
Yeah.
And she has Hashimoto's. That's what I primarily specialize in, although I do work with people with complex chronic issues that just
Sure.
aren't getting the help they need in the Western medicine community. And
Nice.
her labs came back in a way that I've never seen. It was startling, and I had to do a little research. So I did the research. I took the time to do the research, and I uncovered 3 potential things that her blood work was indicating. And I said, let's do another panel. I want to rule these 2 things out. And then I
Mhm.
wrote a little script for her and said, you need to see your endocrinologist and have them look into this condition, this potential
Yeah.
condition, where we'll see what happens with the next steps. But it may turn out that she doesn't have Hashimoto's all this time. She has a different issue that manifests and looks like Hashimoto's.
Yep.
And that's where I said, I don't know what this is. Let's dig deeper. Let's enlist the help of, other greater minds,
Yeah.
and we'll keep working through the stages and just get you feeling better.
Well, and you said something that you kind of just breezed over it, but I think it's important to point out that you are unique in multiple ways probably, but the one that I heard just now is it's okay to say I don't know, and to surround and to go seek it. Like good business owners, good practitioners, good, in any industry, know that they don't know everything. And so they surround themselves with other talented people that can help them where their knowledge is lacking. They can draw on other resources and point people in other directions. And so that's huge. And that is so lacking in traditional Western medicine. It's
Well,
there's
and
such it's like, come to me, I know everything. And it's like you just
I will
don't.
be I will be totally honest. I was that person for many years. I was that, like, that ego comes in and wants
Sure.
to be all the things and be the best. And I I remember for a long time priding myself on often being the smartest person in the room. And a colleague
Sure.
recently said to me, and I think this was like a Zig Ziglar quote or something like that. And
Yeah.
because I was with a group of people who I was far from the smartest person in the room. And I said that, I said, man, this is hard. I'm used to being the smartest person in the room. And she said, then you're in the wrong room. And I really took that to heart because I don't know all the things, and especially approaching medicine and the complexity of the human body
Yeah.
and the complexity of the individual within that human body. For me to think that I have to be the smartest in the room and I have all the answers is incredibly harmful. Like we were talking about,
Can
like
be.
that is yeah, that can be harmful to somebody instead of saying, this is out of my wheelhouse. I don't know what to do. Let's find the right solution or person or whatever it
Right.
is to get you the help that you need.
Exactly. And and
Yeah.
and I've I've mentioned this to people before, and it rings true every time. It's like, look, okay, you've gone to med school, you've gone to, maybe you pursued a specialty, maybe you went, just did the general practitioner thing, maybe you pursued a specialty like surgery, a specialty like neurosurgery, heart surgery. Okay, fine. You've been in school for 20 years, you've learned all these things. Awesome. Well done. You're smarter. Yes. But your real education starts the first day you hit the floor on your first gig, right? Because everything in med school, everything in all those residencies and all that stuff are based on averages and based on,
Mhm.
past experience. Once you hit the floor in the clinic, in the hospital, in the surgical ward, that's when you start really learning, because that's when you encounter stuff that aren't in the textbooks all the time. There's more to it than
Or
what's in the textbooks. So,
yeah,
um,
and like we were saying kind of at the beginning, the the patterns, the root causes,
yes.
that plural, where in the textbook you might know of a single root cause,
Yeah.
but now somebody walks into your office and they have all the things. And like
What?
we have
Yeah.
a saying in, Chinese medicine, we say treat what you see,
Yeah.
but like treat the pattern that you see. But then you've got like 17 different patterns showing up in one person. And we have to have this kind of algorithm, this clinical clarity to put that in the right order. What do we start first? And so that's where this four
Right.
stage process that I do with my online members and my patients is so helpful because I've got my clinical clarity there. I know that
Yes.
regardless, we are going to start with cleaning up inflammation, getting the immune system dialed in. And somebody who doesn't have anything going on in that realm, hey, we're going to breeze
Yeah.
through that. We'll be done in a couple of weeks and we're going to move on to stage 2 and clean up your gut.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, that everybody needs that. Even if you don't know you do, you do. So yeah,
Yep.
99.9% of the population does. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's awesome. I love it. All right. So, oh man, so there was a lot there. I hope everybody was taking notes, because otherwise you're gonna have to rewind the recording here and rewind the episode and watch it again and soak it in, because that was a lot. So, but we're gonna go to one more break, and then when we come back, we're gonna make sure that you're able to reach out to Dr. Sharleen, and then we're gonna talk about something that I think is missing from a lot of aspects of medicine, and that's hope. We're going to talk about hope, because that's if you don't have hope, you're dead in the water already, honestly. So, so we're going to talk about that when we come back a little bit. Stick around, and we'll see you soon.
Tired of losing cell service in dead zones? Concerned about connectivity in emergencies? There is now an answer. Introducing the Love Pod. The world's first affordable encrypted global internet Wi-Fi hotspot connects with multiple service carrier networks and is satellite assisted when no service carrier networks are available. So it works virtually anytime, anywhere. Connect up to 9 devices, like our cell phone, laptop, desktop, TV, security cam, and more. Stream, chat, text, download, and make phone calls, all with no roaming fees. With mesh capability, the Love Pods will grow in strength and speed with each new pod activated to create a private terrestrial-based intranet called Love Global Network. The Love Pods are dual blockchain encrypted with Love's proprietary 2048-bit cube chain encryption, giving you the ultimate protection in data privacy and security against digital attacks and hacks to your devices. You are no longer tracked, and your data is never sold. Get the Love Pod, your private, encrypted, portable global internet Wi-Fi hotspot, and stay safe and stay connected.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are almost there. This is our last segment, which is unbelievable because I feel like it's gone very, very fast. But that's what happens when you're soaking up a bunch of really good information, I guess. Feels quick. So I love what you're doing because of the approach you're taking, and it's very different than what others are doing and what the traditional world, obviously. I don't know why that all of a sudden is a thing now. It's only been in the last 60, 70, 80 years that like Western medicine, the doctors and the hospitals and everything, like from birth to surgery to everything. I mean, it's all like, oh, well, we're the standard now. Says who? All the other stuff been around for thousands of years and it was working just fine, you know? So it's always kind of made me laugh, but it's like, this is traditional medicine. Well, I don't know, but in your practice, in your, with everything you've gone through, with all the struggles you've had to go through to figure out the amount that you've figured out now, even, and it's not even over yet because you're still in pursuit of what's really going on. on those really hard days, I mean, because
Mhm.
be real, there's hard days
Yeah.
for all of us. On those hard days, how do you maintain hope?
That's a really great question, and, when you're in it,
Yeah.
it often feels hopeless, and I have those days, and fortunately, I've been able to work through this 4-stage process that I do with my patients and my online members, and, um, get to a point where I am so much better than I once was, but I do have, like, one little nagging thing that I have yet to, like, fully resolve, and that's that, like, menstrual stuff and, the horrible pain
Yeah.
that I experience every month, and I've even consulted with doctors, and all they wanna do is take my parts out, and again, like, that's not the solution I'm looking for.
Right.
So I would say when I'm in it and it's the pain, the debilitating pain to the point where, I need to get through my day, and especially
Yeah.
I'm talking to those mamas out there who, we put a lot of societal pressure on them to perform and to
Yes.
be the super mom and to do all of the things. And that's not to say that dads aren't also working their butts off. And we have these expectations. So I still need to get through my day. I still need to see my patients. I can't cancel a whole day with people because my tummy hurts, is,
Right.
how the medical community would say it.
Right.
And so that's the only piece that I really have yet to completely resolve. But my food stuff is gone. I'm no longer having skin issues. My joint pain has resolved. I work out 6 days a week, like tough workouts, and this was not me a couple years ago. So I
Yeah.
try when I'm having those kind of debilitating days, I try to remember this too shall pass and just think back about where I was before, just a few years ago, where having a glass of wine would flare my joints so bad that I was waking up in the morning just stiff and achy and bags under the eyes. And now I hardly ever drink. I did celebrate my wedding anniversary last week, and so I did have a
Hey.
glass of wine with dinner to
All right.
celebrate.
How many years?
And 9. We're
All
we
right.
we have a big one next year.
Happy
Um,
anniversary. All right. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And having that glass of wine, it did affect my sleep. I will I
Sure.
didn't sleep amazing, but I woke up the next day and I didn't have terrible joint pain. So I know I'm on the right track. I'm doing
Yeah.
the right things with all these processes, with the different herbs I take. And I will also say to the ladies out there who either have suspected endometriosis or they know they have it, for the first time about a month ago when I had my cycle, I only took 2 ibuprofen, whereas previously I was taking 800 milligrams, so 4 ibuprofen 3 times a day for 3 days straight.
Ooh.
And all I had, like, I got my pain decreased so much just having to
Yeah.
take 2, and I'm optimistic that the next time I can make it through the day without any medication at all to get through the day, and it's all because I have used these processes, and so those are the things that give me hope when I'm just, feeling like, "When is this ever gonna end?
Right.
When am I gonna feel good again?" I remember how far I've come,
Yeah.
and I lean into the fact that fortunately I have all of these tools. I have all of these tools at my disposal.
Yeah.
And that's why I love to share what I do with people because, if they connect with me, now you can have the tools too.
Yes. And tools are huge because
Mhm.
I say a lot in the counseling world, for instance. I know there's parallels here for this, but you
Mhm.
know, once a week for the rest of your life, counseling doesn't always help. Sometimes, there are other programs out there that are more like an intensive model that we know of that
Mhm.
where you learn the tools and then and something comes up, you use the tools, and you don't have to. So, and same thing with yours. If you don't use the tools that you learn, then no amount of once a week for the rest of your life therapy in any regard is going to help you the way you want it to anyway. So
Yeah.
you got to be up for it. You got to be ready for it. So
Yeah, very, very well said. That is, and honestly, I probably wasn't ready a few years ago. I didn't
yeah.
want to give up my tortilla chips and salsa, which is my favorite food, or my wine, even though I knew
Yes.
it was making me feel miserable. And so I had to give up those things temporarily while I
Yep.
got rid of the inflammation. And now I can have stuff periodically and feel fine.
Nice. Yeah. No, it's true. And you're moving in the right direction. So 6 months from now, a year from now, I
Yep.
mean, we'll see how it goes,
Yeah.
So it's awesome. You're on the right track, and that's amazing. And you're helping other people get on the right track, which is great. So that's the idea, right? So, well, amazing. We got about a minute left before we're out of here. Is there anything that's coming up, or is there like a last thing that you just want to make sure everybody knows? One last thing to tell them.
Yeah, I want to say, if you're watching this or listening and, you have questions for me, please reach out on the website. And like I said, it'll take you to an application. Even if you're like, I don't want to work with you, I just have some questions, fill that out. It'll give me a little preface to know what we're going to talk about when we do
Yeah.
chat. And I'm here to help people. If you are like me, if you have a mystery illness, or if you're like, Hashimoto's, and you're one of those people that just doesn't get the good solutions from your doctors, I might be that person that can help.
Awesome. Yes. Please, everybody, scan the QR code. And if you're on Facebook and YouTube, and if you're on the phone and you can't scan the QR code and don't want to type in the website or whatever, just comment on on Facebook, on YouTube. Just comment, just say, hey, I'd like to meet, or yes please, or raise your hand, me, and we'll get Dr. Sharleen in touch with you, and see what we can help you with. So well, good Lord, thank you so much for being here. This has been awesome and eye-opening, and I hope it was for you too, by the way, out there, because this is good stuff. So thank you for sharing everything and for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, man. Okay. Oops. Okay. All right. You got it. Everybody got the QR code, because I'm going to take it down now. Here we go. All right. There it goes. Okay. So thank you for being here. Thank you. If this is your first time watching and this is your first episode, thank you. Come back next time. I got another awesome one coming up that you're not going to want to miss. If you've been watching for a while, thank you. Tell your friends, share, subscribe, like, follow, all the things on social media to spread the word and tell others about our show. If it's impacted you in a good way, we want to know about it, and we want you to help others to have that impact as well. So share, and join us for our next episode, which will be Tuesday, November 5th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, as always. And I'll pop this here back up here real quick. If anybody is interested in InvisibleCondition University, there's the QR code, myfreegiftfromjeff.com. First month's on me. Come join us. I'm sure you'll get something out of it, and love the community as much as we do, and you'll come back. So everybody, have an amazing day, and we will see you on the next show. Have a great day, everybody.